How can something so small destroy your entire day many times over? We're going to talk about SD cards and my nightmare one day when I had several failures. This can happen to you because it did happen to me. So a few weeks ago I was in Germany doing some inspections, and I was out in the middle of nowhere, and I had just done my first inspection of the day. And what I always do is I take my SD card from the drone and I always plug it into my USB dongle, and where I can extract the data, because I never keep the data on the card throughout the entire day, because you never know what's going to happen if you have a flyaway or if you have an accident. It can happen to you. So if at the end of the day something happens and you lose all your data, so you lose a complete day's work. So at the end of every flight, I always extract the data and put it into my computer. So as always, I took it out and I noticed that there wasn't enough pictures, even though I'd been taking pictures. I took about 600 pictures, and there was only about 150 there. So I put it back into the drone, thinking that I could just switch it on and it was somehow corrupt, but it would find itself. That wasn't the case. When I put it back into the computer, I noticed that those images were still gone, and some of the images that were there were actually corrupt and they were actually damaged. So the SD card was actually broken. So I do have a lot of SD cards with me, which of course you should always have. Never ever have one or two SD cards, because you can have a total failure. So later on that day, I got to I got to do another site, and I noticed when I got back to the car and started to get the data, that the SD card got stuck in my SD card reader. So the spring inside this SanDisk USB dongle was actually broken, so the SD card was stuck inside and I couldn't get it out, which meant I wouldn't read actually as well. So I had another SD card which was damaged, but the good people of SanDisk actually sent me a new one, so I do have two now. So I have to break this thing open to get the SD card out. But again, always carry enough SD cards. You can never have enough SD cards, because you never know what can happen. You can have a failure on your SD card. You can have a hardware failure which could stop you from getting the data out. And this happened to me, and it all happened in one day. So it was actually really, really terrible. But again, if you have backups, if you prepare, these are just a slight inconvenience, because the only thing you're losing is time, because you have to go and do these sites again, or whatever it is that you're going to do, which I did do. So I hope this was helpful. These things are so small, they cost a lot, and even if you have the best ones, they can still fail on you. So never trust them. Have plenty on you, and always take the data out once you fly, and never keep it in there. I hope this was helpful. My experience was quite stressful, but I managed to get through it. Thanks everyone. Please leave a comment if this has happened to you and how you got around it. Do you have any certain processes? Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, and as always, fly safe.